What's up, everyone, and welcome into this edition of the Ryan Ripken Show. Little late start, but we still got a lot to get into. The Orioles are currently blowing yet another opportunity to get within a few games of the wild card, get back closer to 500, as the Twins currently have a 5-4 lead. But we got a whole lot more to talk about than just the Orioles. We will get into Chris Bassett's comments. Ryan will be joining us in just a few moments. Adley Rutschman debuted for the Red Sox last night. The Adley Rutschman deal to Baltimore is officially complete, with Harold Rivas being added. Then we are going to answer your mailbag questions, especially for channel members. If you saw the post earlier, head on over there and send us some questions, and we'll try to get to as many as possible. We're going to go around Ravens training camp. They got some positive news, if you're a Ravens fan, on Nate Wiggins and his injury update. Former Gilman St. Francis Charlotte University head football coach Biff Poggi is going to join the show at 4 o'clock. Then we have our friends over, returning guest. We have Field of Dreams Whiskey, Tyler Clippard and Drew Storen, two former MLB relievers, will join, and then we'll hit some other MLB notes around the league. So stick around. We got a lot of fun to talk about. To my left, I guess to me it's left, Rocco DeSangro. Rocco, how you doing?
Pointed the wrong way. It's okay. Whatever side I'm on, I'm on the other side. On the other side.
What's
going on though, Zach? It's been a good week so far. Took a look at the Orioles score, up 4-1. Took a look at the Orioles score a few minutes later, down 5-4. We praised starting pitching the last couple of weeks, and starting pitching has been the strongest unit. Shane Baz goes out and has a blow-up inning, and now it's a 5-4 game. So you can't make this shit up, man. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, you sit there and the entire time, all we talk about these days is Shane Baz. And, oh, man, he can't get any run support. He's a star. He just can't get a run support. The Orioles said, here's 4 runs in the first 3 innings. And, of course, because the baseball gods are cruel. Baseball's a cruel game. And they finally give Shane Baz some sort of run support, 4 runs in 3 innings. And, of course, it's the day where he has his worst outing. But we'll get into that. We'll keep tabs on that. And as that game wraps up later on in the show, we will get to all of that. But Rocco, do you want to kind of talk about for a second, maybe give people heads up on what the mailbag is going to look like?
Absolutely. We'll do the mailbag and we'll get into our sponsorship as well and thank our sponsors. But the mailbag, every Wednesday, we're going to put out a post on Ryan's account on behalf of Ryan, I guess we'll call it. On X to his subscribers, and then to Facebook as well. Members of the show will get priority on these, but we're just going to answer questions. It's not always going to be Orioles or Ravens related. It could be life questions. Not sure you want to take life advice from Ryan, but you never know. You might. He does give some good advice at times, but keep an eye out for them on Wednesdays. We'll be posting them early in the morning or in the afternoon. And then we'll be answering those questions on the Wednesday live stream like we are today. So later in the show, we'll get to that. Definitely drop the questions in the chat. And we'll get to those later in the show. So appreciate everyone tuning in and watching and bearing with us right now. So
let's kind of jump into it. We will, like I said, talk about what is going on with the Orioles and the Twins as that game kind of wraps up. But they did play last night, obviously. And I mean, how it always goes, Rocco. We sit here, we have these conversations about Gunnar Henderson needing to step up. And would you look at that last night? He's got 3 hits, comes up a triple shy of the cycle. Really great to see Gunnar Henderson look like that. He looked like a complete Gunnar Henderson that we all know and love. And that's the guy. Those are the games. You don't expect 3 hits. You don't expect coming up a triple shy of the cycle every single day. But it's good to see Gunnar slowly, it feels like, you hope, get his confidence back. And that was a big first step.
Well, Zach, that's what's so frustrating about watching Gunnar Henderson play baseball this season. You know it's there. You know the talent is there, and you've seen it before. So the struggles, it sucks to watch him go through it throughout the season. And again, like the argument of, yeah, these guys are millionaires. They're getting paid an absurd amount of money to play baseball. It's like they're still human beings. They still go through the ups and downs of, going to work every day, as do all of us, except they're getting paid a lot more than we are. So that talent is there for Gunnar Henderson. It's about unlocking it again. And again, like I said, man, I want Gunnar Henderson to get back to playing baseball the way he loves the game. I want him to have his joy back and to unlock that again, because when you look at it from the outside looking in, you haven't seen a Gunnar Henderson that loves the game of baseball. You've seen one that's frustrated. You've seen one that is struggling to get it, to produce hits and produce runs on the field. And yesterday, seeing that, it's like, okay, let's kind of build off that going forward, man, and getting back to the Gunnar Henderson that we all know and love, because, hate to break it to you, but the Orioles go as Gunnar Henderson goes. If Gunnar Henderson's struggling, the Orioles are most likely going to struggle. If Gunnar Henderson's playing great baseball, the Orioles, they're probably going to win baseball games. It's not always going to be the case, but definitely correlates in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and it definitely does. And as we talk about giving a quick update, the Orioles are now down 7-4, a game in which they took a 4-1 lead. It's all gone wrong. Just a very, very Orioles-esque game where you think they finally put it together, gained some momentum. They are a very one-step forward, two-step back franchise, have been for the past 30-ish years or so. But we'll keep an eye on that as we continue. And did Rip join behind the scenes? Yeah, okay, we do have him. Yep. So welcome to the show, friend of the program. We have Ryan
Rip. You good? Yep, he's good. Awesome. Great to see you, buddy. How's everything going?
It is going. Can you hear me okay?
We can. Loud and
mic
clear.
Check, mic check. Happy Wednesday. And
yeah,
shirts and pants. It is something. It is something out there. And it's something out there in Minnesota. Not the game that you're hoping for if you're an Oriole fan. We'll get into that later on as that winds down. So what I missed, you guys covered. Our friends over at CQ, you covered. I heard about Gunnar Henderson.
We did not cover that yet, so we'd love to get into that sponsor read right now, and then we can jump back into the Orioles and some comments that a certain pitcher made. So if you'd like to enlighten us there.
Thanks. And New Hat Rock. It's not a new hat, but it's another one that we've seen before.
Yep.
It's not a new hat. Zach, your hat looks new.
No, but it's not a new one yet. We're getting there. It's getting to new hat time.
What constitutes a new White Star sales hat for you, Zach? Is it like you've worn it 7 months in a row and then you get a little bit of sweat there?
Once people start in the comments saying that I'm wearing a brown hat, that's when I'm like, okay, yep, it's
well, what if it's like 2 days in now? I hope the people that are watching just drop a, hat's brown.
Well, then I know. Then I'm concerned for our viewers and the color.
I don't think you can blame the viewers. I think this is a you thing that you got to figure out.
Well, we will figure it out. But I appreciate your concern, Rocco.
Hey, Rock, we appreciate that you care, but you know what? We appreciate all of you out there. And Zach?
We appreciate CQ.
How about that? And our friends over at CQ want to remind you, yes, baseball season is continuing on, but also football season is right around the corner, and college football season is the first that will be back. And just looking back, did you travel to any games, either college or professional, bowl games, things where maybe some prices got a little bit up there, and now you're looking at ways that can help you in the future? Well, for CQ, if you do have some debt or loans, well, how about this? You can start paying off that debt with these newly lowered rates on unsecured signature loans, and their lines of credit mean that you can root on your team without breaking the bank. So right now you can borrow as little as $300 or up to $30,000. And there's no application fee and no prepayment penalty. See cqmd.org for full details. Terms and conditions apply, and you're subject to credit approval. And CQ, proud sponsor of the Ryan Ripken Show. We appreciate them, and we appreciate you all. And I appreciate the conversations we're going to continue to have here. We have some great guests that will join us as the show continues, but we do need to get into this one conversation about the Orioles. that I think is worth discussing more, because yesterday, Zach, Andy Koska put out a excerpt from Chris Bassett, now rejoining the team, and was kind of reflecting on the season. And the Orioles season, it's no secret, has not gone the way that they had anticipated when the team was breaking camp. But doesn't matter what happened then, it's what's happening now and how we got here. So, Zach, for part one of the Chris Bassett quotes, do we have that ready to showcase?
Zach, you're muted.
You're muted, Zach.
We got the video.
We got the video. Even better. Let's play the video of Chris Bassett talking about this season for the Baltimore Orioles.
Mike put a really good team together in the start of the season, and we did not hold our end of the bargain up for one reason or next. And he did what's best for the team, I think. I mean, obviously you can argue not now, but I mean for the future for sure. I don't have 1 ounce of like so-called anger at Mike. I'm angry at myself. I'm angry at all the guys in here, just because we haven't done a good job. We haven't played a great brand of baseball. We haven't played a clean brand of baseball, and we're still in it. That's the craziest part about this whole thing is you can be mad about trade deadline and how the year's gone and everything else, but we're right here. So it's just more so just trying to accept what has happened, and then just move forward and grow together and try to hold each other like to the highest standards and win a whole bunch of games and get in the playoffs.
That's part one, Zach, because we will have part two. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, we have his next.
Perfect. Because that part one there, we're breaking this down because I think it's important to help tell the story of his comments and to put it together for Birdland and our listeners out there, because this is one part of the equation for the Orioles so far. On paper, when they went into the season, you felt really good about what they had. You know, you want to go back to that tweet from Jeff Passan in the offseason after they added Pete Alonso, and you thought that lineup for adding Pete, and you thought, okay, there's Jordan Westberg, Jackson Holiday, both are going to be healthy to start the year. Adley's going to be here with Basayo. Oh, and then, by the way, Gunnar Henderson, you know, he's going to be a top 5 player this year. And some of the other pieces that were added to the roster that people were excited to see. But as we know, you got to go and play the game. And the Orioles offense has been wildly inconsistent. And then on top of it, Westberg gets hurt, done for the year. Jackson Holiday hurt, battling back, and he's had a good last month and a half. But the offense has not been as maybe advertised or as expected. So that's one part. And then the starting rotation, they've been great as of the last 2+ months, but to start off the season, it was very rough for them, and they were in a tough position. So when you hear Chris Bassett talk about that Michael Eyes put together a good roster, on paper it did look good, but the players and the results didn't match what you saw then before the season, and this is exactly why you play the game. No one cares how good you're supposed to be. You got to go out and prove it, because the Rays going into the season were picked to be last in the AL East, and right now they're the best team in baseball and have a great shot to represent the American League in the World Series. That's part one here. Part two is where we can really deep dive as a group, because Chris Bassett was then asked some follow-ups to more of the season, and I think this is what Birdland is going to want to hear more about. So let's play that clip, Zach.
Have you had a chance to connect with Dean yet? And how's he doing over there?
Yeah, good. I mean, I try to connect. I mean, as crazy as it is, I try to connect. Fortunately, unfortunately, I've been around a little bit of teams. I've been traded. No, it's not easy. So, yeah, everyone that gets traded, I try to kind of reach out, give them time. Like, as crazy as it is, like Adley and Ward and them, I haven't even reached out to yet, just because I know the first couple of days you get traded, your phone doesn't stop buzzing. So I try to give them some time to relax and let the waters calm before I call them, just to kind of call them and say, hey, like, thank you for everything. and then just how you doing. Like, I know it's not easy. It's not easy for your family. It's not easy for anybody. So yeah, I give them some time.
You mentioned that this team the players didn't hold their end of the bargain. There's probably so many. It's probably hard to decipher why exactly that is. But when you kind of analyze it, and maybe end of the season you'll analyze it more completely. Why do you think that's the case? I mean, what's maybe held the team back in some ways?
Yeah, I mean, listen. I've been in these situations a number of times, and I've gotten out of them a number of times. And I would say the one mistake that I have made, and I've told all the players, and I'm not saying the media probably doesn't want to hear this, but it's best to take your complaints and your frustrations and whatever you have to Mike. Like, I've made the mistake personally where I've talked to the media about my complaints, and I didn't go and tell the GM. I didn't go and tell the coach. First person I told was you guys. And so, like, to me, like, we're a family. Like, whether you want to like say like all players are against front office and all we're a family. Like, we're all pulling the same way. So yeah, I mean, I think throughout this year, I think everyone has ideas of what we can do to get better, what we can do to improve, and we're doing stuff right now. It's not like we're waiting till the end of the year to put these things in place. But yeah, like the issues that I see or the things that I see, those will be between me and LB and Mike. Like, I'll never come out publicly and say like, hey, they're doing this, and this right, this wrong. There's just no net positive I see where the organization improves by me calling them out, so to speak. So yeah, I'll always keep that kind of between all of us.
So a lot to unpack there, and I believe at the end, Andy Koska asked that follow-up question, and that was courtesy of Masson on the video side. But this was the meat and potatoes that we wanted to dive into more, because I think both are fair assessments, guys. Where the two problems with the Baltimore Orioles this year is the players haven't played up to expectations, but clearly the team hasn't been on the same page, and there has been some disconnect. That's kind of what I took from the words from Chris Bassett, and I agree with him. It is best to handle that internally. As a player, always when you put things out there, the media can be so great in so many ways, but we also know the media can have places to try to tear down or try to find the exact root of the problem, or it's got to be a specific person or thing. And the reality is it's not just one person or thing. It's a combination when you go through a season and a system. And so that's what I'm looking at, guys, and it's kind of what you're seeing on the field. There has been moments where the team has looked disconnected. I mean, just look at how the performances have been. Defensively, clearly there's been issues. If you're going to talk about hitting philosophies and having success, you're watching it unfold. The results tell you that. So, yeah, the roster, the guys need to play better, but clearly there's been a dysfunction, Zach, on getting the best out of the guys. Because if that was the case, the Orioles would be in a much better position. Some of these guys would be playing at a higher level. And whether that is committing to guys playing more or having different philosophies on how to manufacture more runs, whatever it may be, this is where the Baltimore Orioles are at. And I think that is a fair thing to talk about, Zach, as we are now into the last 6 weeks or so of the season.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about it even at the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, and now we're talking about now. Before the season started, I liked the roster that Mike Golias put together. I thought it was a really good roster on paper. Unfortunately, you don't play it on paper. Once they got on the grass, once they got on the field, the players let them down. Players, whether it was unfortunate things, like players not staying healthy, whether it was things like guys just not performing in the fact of like a Gunnar Henderson. On paper, it looked like a good team. You could question the bullpen, but we talked to Mark Feinsand before the season, and even he said, he's like, yeah, if bullpen's your biggest concern, so is every other team's. maybe 2 teams like their bullpen right now before the season. That's what the trade deadline's for, getting those final pieces from the bullpen. Starting pitching has stepped up. It hasn't necessarily been the guys you thought. I mean, you were thinking, okay, Rogers, Boz, Bradish, they were going to do well, but you thought Bassett was probably going to be a big piece. He's been injured. It's been Brandon Young. Dean Kramer now pitches on the other dugout in Minnesota. It hasn't gone the way that you thought. Adley Rutschman gets traded, but I will say it is the players. You know, coaching can only go so far. They're not the ones swinging the bat. Maybe you could say they've put them in bad situations here and there. That's up for interpretation. But overall, it's been disappointing players making errors, things like that have really led to this team's kind of downfall in the standings.
I think that's a fair thing to say. The players are the ones that go and have the results. Now, what you want to argue in the future is, are the players being put in the best position? Because it's a combination of, for the Orioles, and I think it's very documented now, they have to change things at a philosophical level because that hasn't worked for the results on the field. So it's players, it could be system, it could be a combination of it, but the players got to go out and play. And then I told you guys, I do really like Albie. I think that Albie has some good makings to be a manager, but he is right now a rookie manager. So there's going to be growing pains, and there are some decisions that he's made that probably have come back to bite him. I don't think probably have. That's just sports, but that also comes with the expectations of you coming in and helping this team get to the next level. And the reason why the Orioles were in sell mode is because the combination of players not performing, injuries, and then system-wise, the organization hasn't done enough to put themselves in a position to have success. And no one's going to complain or feel sorry for you. That's what I say about all these injuries. You think anyone feels bad for the Yankees that Aaron Judge is hurt? No, not at all. Do you think that other teams feel bad when other teams have losing streaks or injuries? The Toronto Blue Jays had a ton of them. You think people gave a shit? No. Do you think anyone cared when Boston fired their entire coaching staff? No. Everyone was saying tear it down. You know who helped bring it back up? Chad Tracy was the interim manager, but the players went out and went on a bender. And they were really good. They're not even really good. They were exceptional. So I think that that's a good point that Bassett's trying to say, and I know media members don't like hearing this, but the bigger thing is, can you get to a resolution behind closed doors? And that's what happens. Can you try to figure it out in the season? And it's easy for people to go out there and say, hey, just fix this. Oh, that's what you need to fix. And you go, really? That's all we got to fix? Well, then it's like, no shit, we got to fix that. But when you're in the moment and you're trying to go through it, it's not as simple as that. It really isn't. You are dealing with emotions, frustrations, and then on top of it, if guys are struggling and they're trying to figure it out, it's an internal battle that's a lot more challenging than meets the eye. And I'm telling you, there's something about when you play with a team, and if you're a Baltimore Ravens fan, you saw it a lot last year. There was dysfunction last year, and you know what didn't help? That your quarterback, your star, is hurt. So your star's hurt, you have injuries, the team's not meshing, there's not this great chemistry right now, and you're still trying to find a way, and yet we know how that ended for the Ravens. It was a kick by Tyler Loop that went wide right, and the season ended. The Orioles, they're going to have 6 weeks to kind of figure it out. Right now, they have about 3 innings to figure it out against the Twins. If not, it's another series loss before they head to their weekend series. That's all I have on that.
Rip, can I say something about Bassett real quick before we move on?
Yep.
I think maybe along the lines, because I don't agree with everything he said, but I agree with some points of it. Maybe right message in a way, but wrong messenger. I don't want to hear that from a guy who, okay, he's a veteran, but he also hasn't pitched a game since June, and he's been injured. If Pete Alonso came out and said that, or Gunnar Henderson came out and said that, it might resonate a little bit more, or fans might be a little bit more receptive to a message like that. Not Chris Bassett, who hasn't pitched since June. And I know he can't help that, and injuries happen. But again, if you're going to talk about, I'm mad at everybody in here, I want that coming from a guy who's playing every day not a guy who hasn't played in a few months. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. And from an overall standpoint, both things can be true where, yes, the Orioles as a team, as a talented team with the talent they have underperformed. Gunnar Henderson, number one, in the field at bat, hitting sub 220 or sub 215 right now and making errors left and right. He had a great game yesterday, but Gunnar needs to build off of that and be more consistent. Tyler O'Neill, yes, he's been on a hot streak as of late, but where was that in the beginning of the season? Those are the things that frustrate fans from a player perspective, but what frustrates fans from a front office perspective are some of the trades that were made, are some of the lineups that are being put out there on the field, are some of the, it looks like, mismanagement from okay, you want your young guys to get hot at the right time and get the at-bats. Well, why aren't they hitting every day? And now we're starting to get into a rhythm with that, but is it too little too late, Rip? And it's, again, from an Orioles personnel, like on the field perspective, this is what we're looking at. A team that continues to shoot itself in the foot from all aspects, from on the field, from the front office. It's a team that can't get out of its own way, Rip. And it's like you get so close to that third wild card spot, and it feels like you're 9 games out. This doesn't look like a team to me that's 2.5 games out of that third wild card spot, and I don't think it looks that way to anybody else. Yes, that's what it says in the standings, but they're still so far off right now.
I'd like to say, to close with that, I hear what you're saying about with Bassett saying it. I'm cool with a veteran saying it, but I'm also cool with people being more blunt. Like, hey, this shit isn't good enough. Like, and so if it's not Bassett and it's not Alonso, who is saying that? Because I think at times we look at in this game that you want to say the right things, and sometimes what you need to say to your fans is, this isn't good enough. We aren't playing well enough. And not only saying that, but then acting upon it. So whatever has to happen here for the Orioles, for me, it's whoever says it, but then you got to have the results. If you don't have the results, it doesn't matter who says it. It could be Pete, it could be Chris, it could be Gunnar. But if you say it and then you don't fix it, it's still not going to feel good, because you know what's going to continue down? Is this just who the Orioles are going to be moving forward? And that's a deeper rooted question that will wait as we move forward. And the one thing I'll say, that Tigers-Orioles series, hell of a comeback for the Orioles. And you know, people are pretty pissed if you're a Tiger fan. And I heard a lot of people from Detroit going like, damn, this team just can't figure it out. Well, that Detroit team traded Scooble. That Detroit team has continued to battle. And that Detroit team is plus 89 in run differential and now sit 1 game under 500, a half game out of that final wild card spot, winners of 8 of their last 10. And by the way, not only are they a half game out of the wild card, the Tigers now sit 2.5 games behind the White Sox for the central lead, and they have leapfrogged the Twins and the Guardians in the process. So when you're looking at what you can do, yeah, the messaging can be, we got to play better. The results have to dictate if the messaging's actually working. And unfortunately for the Orioles right now, they have not done things consistently enough for people to believe whatever the messaging has been. So we'll see what happens. Here we are. Bottom of the top of the seventh, bottom of the seventh, top of the seventh for the Orioles.
2 outs.
We'll see if they are going to be 5 games or 3 games under when this show ends. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We're live Monday through Friday right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. We'll hit a couple news and notes, guys, because just around the league, at least for the Orioles case, Adley did make his debut. He went 1 for 5, or 1 hit in the game, 1 for 3. Red Sox lost again. Yep. Right?
Yep.
Red Sox lost.
Yeah.
Adley had an infield single, which it seems healthy. But they're winless now
since he started playing games for the organization. They're 0 for 4.
Well, might as well trade him back.
That includes the Woo Sox, right? Or since the trade, Zach?
No, that since he started playing physical games, they won the first, I think, 2. Yeah, they won the first 2 or 3 games after he was traded, but they've lost 4 straight since he started his rehab assignment.
It's going to take some getting used to seeing him in in Red Sox colors, but it's part of the business at the end of the day. You don't have to like it, though. Rip, and then another note, just kind of what we thought originally happened on the trade for Adley side. A player to be named at a later time happened to be a player that was reportedly in those trade talks, if you want to share more details on that.
Yeah, the player to be named was named, and
Yep.
he is another top prospect for the Boston Red Sox. I guess I should say now the Baltimore Orioles. As I'm loading to have it, Harold Rivas is now coming to the Baltimore Orioles. 18-year-old, has some pop, has the ability to steal some bags. Very young player, like I said, signed for $950,000 out of Venezuela in 2025. So he is the final member that has been named in the trade with Adley. So added to the list of the Hall of prospects. That doesn't make people feel better because you want to see the prospects turn into something, but it is another prospect that is touted, at least throughout the baseball ranks, that's joining the Orioles system here in the Adley deal. So those are those news and notes. Am I missing anything else specifically around that, Zach, Rock? And hi, Kevin.
Hi. Hello.
No, I think you hit everything there on that. So if we can, because I know our guest is about to join at 4, if we want to jump into the Wednesday mailbag, Rip, and then the spin the wheel, that nice wheel you have to the right of you, in the next 5 minutes, I think we can make it happen, but we're going to have to beat the clock here, and then we'll bring on our guest, and then we can push Ravens talk, unfortunately, till after both of our interviews, if that's okay with everyone. Maybe it's not. Sorry. It's just how the show went today.
Yeah, it's just how the cookie crumbles. And we'll make sure, Rock, you can help Coach Poggi as he gets settled in when he does join us.
Yep, absolutely. And
we will see if he has got the cutoff tank or not in just a little bit of time. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Brian Ripken Show, live Monday through Friday right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. But, Rock, how do you want to mailbag this thing?
Zach's got a few questions he pulled from Facebook. Not sure if you're Mr. Popular on X because we put a subscribers only chat out and don't know if we got any, but we got a ton on Facebook. So Zach, if you have a few, we can pull up.
Yeah. First one we actually got from, this one is from YouTube. We got Nick. No, it's not it. It's this one. It's Nick Notes asking, do we see a rookie call-up coming very soon, like an EBJ or Creed Willems? Seems like there's a spot or two in the current lineup that could belong to some of our position player prospects, at least for the time being.
I don't think so. I think the way as the team is currently fighting, there would have to be an injury to see any more changes. That's just how I personally feel. I think they're still trying to navigate their outfield. So I'd have to wait till September, but nothing imminent in my mind unless we see another injury to the big league club.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And as we keep things rolling, our next one we got from Mark on Facebook, Mark Miller asking, what do you see happening with Kobe Mayo when Jordan Westburg comes back next year? Strictly a DH?
Well, if you're committing to your infield of Westburg, Holiday, Gunnar, and Pete, then where does Kobe fit in? That's the question. I don't have that answer. And are you going to have him be a full-time DH? Also, I don't know. I mean, and that's why I bet a lot of teams are watching how Kobe finishes because his value as his bat continues is going to continue to rise. Zach, I believe he's a big league bat. And I've said it before over this stretch of 5 weeks for Kobe, he's hitting 265 against righties. That was something that people were really looking at this guy can't play every single day as a hitter. No, I believe he can. But the reality is at this current roster construction, I don't know where that fits in. But I don't like to give away players to give away players. I think for right now, you continue to see what Kobe does offensively, and then you take a deeper dive when you head to the offseason. But I got to say, I think if Kobe continues to get everyday at bats, if it's in Baltimore or somewhere else, the dude's going to be an everyday big leaguer because that bat plays.
I agree. Our next one we got from Wall Berlin. Boz, Bradish, and Brandon Young seem locked into a hypothetical 2027 starting rotation. What's your gut say for the other two spots? What would you do if you were a GM?
Well, if Rodgers is extended, he will be in that spot. If not, man, I feel like you got to go out and get somebody while you still have your pitching prospects continue to rise. I think that's a wait and see. You know, I don't like the what ifs, and that was the part about trading Dean Kramer is you had team control over him, and you knew that you could have him in your roster or your rotation. But now with a lot of these younger pitchers, are you going to give more run to Trey Gibson? Is it going to Cade Povich? If you commit to them, I'm for that. But so far, they haven't been able to say they're going to do that in the rotation. So my gut is it's going to be an Oriole that's not currently on the roster. And we'll have to wait and see what happens here with Trevor Rodgers.
I agree. So we'll get to some more maybe later, but that's going to do it for this little mailbag section.
Well, we can do that, and then we'll do a quick Wednesday wheel. So each Wednesday we'll add something to the wheel. So we had in the past of the one thing added to the wheel was Rocco having to balance on one leg for 30 seconds straight. We have to decide the punishment if you can't do it, Rocco. But shout out Joe Thomas, Hall of Famer, and now Hall of Farms, I should say. And he was up there providing all of the meat for the Hall of Fame up there in Canton this past week. But, Rock, your odds are 1 in 6. So we will see if that's going to happen here. Any last words?
Thanks.
Okay.
This would be so funny.
This would piss me off so much if it hits. All right.
You're lucky.
Odds are in your favor, so no Rocco on this one. We will add to that wheel, and we will add another person to the wheel. It could be me, Zach, or Kevin that will have to spin for next week.
Maybe our next guest has an option for us going forward of what we can add to that. But, Rip, I actually tried that 30 seconds on one. It's not as easy as you think. Like, eyes closed, standing on one leg. It's very hard. I was trying to do it in public, look like a complete idiot, but not something I want to do on air. But if I have to, anything for the good of the brand. But
well, I was just thinking, our next guest, I can't tell you how many times I heard the word gassers, growing up in high school. And even I remember it was at the time, Tim Holly was my JV coach, and half gassers was a lot for me, but gassers running down the field. And you guys know I was never built for speed. My endurance was all right, but I don't like to run that much. But Coach, if you're good, can you hear me behind the screens, Coach? And can you give me a thumbs up if you're ready to rock and roll? Perfect. Well, this is a treat for me because it's been a while. It goes back to my days in high school, but it's great to see where he has gone, and I'm really happy to catch up with him because we have some memories to talk about and to talk about what he's going to be up to for this upcoming college football season. Let's bring on Coach Biff Poggi. Coach.
Hey, how you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing well. I actually, I don't know if it was a coincidence of what it was, but there was some memories because Darius Jennings, I saw him recently, and then I saw Darius Jennings highlight tape. So I'm going to have to talk to you about him in a second. But since we have this wheel, Coach, and I don't know if you want to put gassers in here, but we want to try to do some sort of athletic, can be conditioning. But is there anything we should add to the wheel that we'd have to spin for in the future?
What's on it already?
Well, for that, it was Rocco has to work on his coordination. So balancing on one leg with, I guess it could be blindly. And so Joe Thomas had that. We had a physical therapist do that. We got to add, Joe Thomas said to do an ice plunge for 2 minutes. Do you have any that we should add?
Ice plunge is brutal. I don't know. I would probably say I would say, knock out 4 full gassers.
Oh gosh. You know what? For old time's sake and Rock, I'll bite the bullet here. I will add that for myself. I still am getting some memories back to that, Coach, in high school. It was really part of the teenage days. And I remember a guy that hated those, and I think you made him run quite a few, was Charles Cross.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but
Coach
it was
Charles.
a special thing. But it's great to see you, Coach. And you've been, before we go back to, you've had such a great perspective on everything that's going on in the football world, from the high school ranks to college and beyond. But you got a new gig coming up here in the fall with the Big Ten. Is that correct?
Yeah. I'm going to be with the Big Ten Network. I'm going to be on every week talking about the games and doing analysis on the Big Ten games.
Well, what for all the perspective of it, Coach, what has been, for those that don't know, and I'm going to fluff you up here, Gilman, when it started off for us, you created a tremendous program. Continued that on with St. Francis. You have now continued on into the college coaching ranks. And I guess you've seen it from such a different perspective. So I guess I'd start with that of, what is something with this journey here over the years that you kind of maybe look back upon that has maybe helped you create a perspective that I think is going to be so unique come this fall?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I appreciate being. It's good to see you. It really is. I'm proud of you too. You're doing great stuff, and I'm really happy to see what you're doing. And I hear great things about what you're doing. And I have very fond memories, by the way, of you when you were a young kid. And I always thought you were a terrific kid and a really good athlete and just a good boy. You were just a nice kid. As far as my experience, and it's been a lot of years of it, obviously, the thing that you can't ever forget, no matter what level you're in, is that if you're going to really coach, call yourself a coach. You are not in it for all the things that people talk about and love talking about, which is just the wins and losses. Coaching is this intimate relational thing where you get a chance to imprint a person, whether it's a high school player like you were, a college player, and as you know, Ryan, with some of the more recent rules around college, we've got some kids that are on the team. They're 24 years old, 25 years old. And so it's not about age, but what it is about is putting your arm around kids and around young men and trying to get them to be, to reach their goals, certainly on the field, but really off the field too. And it comes back to, being a good son, being a good husband, being a good dad, being a good member of the community. And you learn all those things from really being a good teammate. How are you a good teammate? And so a lot of the things I'm going to talk about this year is I'm going to talk about what locker rooms look like as far as what a good team, what's happening in the locker room on a good team. Bill Polian told, when I got the head job at Charlotte, Bill Polian came to the office and we were talking about putting rosters together. And he said, remember one thing, you're never putting together a team, you're building a locker room. And I thought, God, that is so interesting. Because even if you have a bunch of talent, as you know, being in lots of locker rooms, if you've got one group of guys over here in the corner talking about, man, why is this guy playing and I'm not, or this guy playing and you're not, our coach is an idiot, and forget it. You're not going to be, first of all, you're not going to win anything. Secondly, you're not going to be successful. And who wants to do that? So I want to be focusing on those kind of things. And I think when you look at the recent landscape, you see a great example of that at Indiana, right? They just took a bunch of regular guys. And they all just bought into to Cignetti's idea of we're going to do this together. And they did not have the best talent in the country for sure, but they were the best team in the country.
I think that's a great message. And before you came on, we were talking about with baseball. And when you're talking about a roster and on paper, this team looks like they could be pretty good. They could be a team that's at the top, but that's why you got to play the game because so many factors unfold. Whether it be obviously the results on the field is what we're going to talk about for wins and losses, but you and I both know, and you just alluding to that exact point, there is so much off the field and in that locker room and with that group that can really dictate how things move forward. And that was one thing that I always remembered with you at Gilman. It was such a emphasis on creating an environment and culture of togetherness. And then, you got some talented players and you work as a unit, you're going to go out there and have success. And, you're talking about the Big Ten, and you spending so much time at Michigan as well. That was something that I feel the Harbaughs, both Jim and John, really focused on. Is there any, if give an example of maybe with Jim that was so, important to his messaging? Because I've heard through the years how you've done it, but Jim as well now, whether it's been in college or at the professional rank, he has continued to have his message ring true.
Yeah, Jim is a very good friend of mine, and it was an honor to work with Jim. Jim is a unique individual in that he is singularly focused on doing things the right way. And I'll tell you something that I'll give you a unique look into it, I think. Obviously Jim's a great football mind. He was a great player. He's been a great coach. He comes from a family full of coaches. His dad was a great coach. His brother's an unbelievable coach. And so he's got that background. But when I got to Michigan in 2016, one of the things that Jim did, which I thought was incredibly interesting, is he said, and this was in the staff room, this was to the staff. And in football buildings, there's probably 150 or so people that work in the building. And so when you have a staff meeting, they're big meetings. But one of the things he said is, we're not going to gossip in here about one another. So don't come to me and say, hey, Jim, I saw Biff do XYZ or Biff said XYZ. Go to Biff. And if you feel like you can't do that, then come get me and we'll go together to whoever you have a grievance with. And man, did that stop immediately the energy vampires in the building who spent all this time and energy talking about what other people were doing instead of what they should have been doing. And then he took that message to the football team. So don't go off in as we talked about, he used to call it eating cheese. Don't go off in the corner and be a cheese eater and distract this guy and that guy and divide the team. Go right to a guy. And if you're not willing to do that, then you know what? Be quiet, hold your peace, and do your job. And that is really important. And it might be more important now than it was in 2016 because the money's gone up, the fame has gone up. And look, you talked about the Orioles, and I don't know what's going on there, but I'll just say this. How many times have we seen in any sport, but we're talking about football with the football has a cap, obviously, baseball still doesn't, but you can buy the best players in the world. And if that happens, back when I was growing up, the Yankees should have won it every year and they didn't. What was going on? I'm telling you, it was something in that locker room. And it wasn't about who could throw the fastest, who could, hit the hanging curve. It wasn't about all that stuff. It was what was going on in the locker room. And I think that's one of the big things I learned at Michigan.
You said, don't eat cheese in the corner. Is that the phrase?
Yeah.
That is phenomenal. And you know what? It could be quirky, and I'm a corny guy, but I love that because the messaging is, you might think it's silly, but it's so true. You got a problem, go direct to the source. Yeah. You want to talk about it? And it's a man's game that you're playing, by the way. You got a problem, you got something going on, go communicate that. I also do find it interesting, Coach, here in Baltimore and even now out in Seattle, Jesse Minter is going to get his first run here as a head coach, and he was with Jim, and then with Michigan, with the Chargers, now in Baltimore, and Mike McDonald, and two of those guys to me kind of seem that words that I've heard, and I think maybe you can enlighten me on this, or it goes right into our conversation now. Communication is vital. Is that a way of the Harbaugh tree here of Minter and even McDonald, that communication isn't we're gonna work on it. No, communication has to be one of our primary focuses as a team.
Well, I work with both of those guys at Michigan, and I know them both well, and I'm very fond of both of them. Jesse, who is the head coach here in Baltimore now, what an incredible hire. He's a brilliant football man. And again, his father, Rick Minter, was a great coach in his own right, defensive coordinator at Notre Dame, head coach at Cincinnati, and really Jesse is a brilliant football guy. But the thing that's interesting about Jesse is he has the ability to bring his staff together in a way that he's a very approachable person, and he's very intelligent, and he is a guy that motivates his staff to serve the players as well as they can. And I think if you're a Ravens fan and you're listening to this, get ready for John. Was a great coach. John did a great job. You can't take anything away from John. Jesse is one of these younger kind of prodigy guys that you're going to see results right away from him. And this is not one of these ones going to take 2 or 3 years to build. He's going to be able to do it right away. And one of the things about Jesse and Mike together, they coached everybody the same. They didn't care if you were the best player or the guy at the end of the bench at Michigan. If you were a guy that needed correction, you got correction. If you were a guy that did something that deserved praise, you got praise. And it had nothing to do with where you were on the depth chart or anything else. And the last thing I'll say about Jesse and both of them, and this is key, they are not going to be intimidated by a player's contract size or that player's so-called importance to the team. You're going to have to prove it to them every single day, and I hope this doesn't come across too stern. But if you're not willing to do it, we'll get another guy that looks just like you. So there are plenty of guys out there. So in other words, fall in line, be a team guy, get coached, want to be coached hard, respond well to it, keep your personal feelings out of it. And Jesse has an unbelievable way of doing that. And he is, I think the Baltimore fans are going to love him. They're going to love him.
I think that they will, and I think they already have. And the messaging about how you treat one another, you have your rules, you have your standards, whether you're first in the depth chart or wherever you are, last, in between. And Mike McDonald just had a soundbite himself, by the way, of talking about, hey, stay away from the quarterback. I told you this is the rule. And, hey, anybody does it. It can be our top guy or our last guy. Hey, this is how we're running it. And I don't care what you've accomplished. These are our rules, but we're going to work together. And, that was Mike, which obviously he's had tremendous success already as a head coach. And Jesse, I'm excited. And Coach, I'm excited to see you work your magic now on college days. And I got to say, I was getting married the day you were interviewing with Saban on college football.
Well, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. But I'm with some of the Gilman guys, and I am with Charles, and we see you pop up, and I am dying, by the way, with your guys back and forth. when before I get back to some of the memories of our times there, because I just love the stories. I think it gives great perspective. That moment for you, it was such a interesting time, for you to have to take over a program. And when I watched you talk with Saban, that was the coach that I remembered seeing. You were the same guy, even despite so much chaos going on. Could you maybe just walk me through even that interview, or even navigating such a stressful situation at one of the premier programs in the country?
Yeah, well, you never want to see a coach be, replaced. But it is what it is. And it was a very stressful time for the players. And first and foremost, I'm so proud of those kids for just staying focused. And the way we did that, Ryan, that we tried to put all the noise to this, and there was a lot of noise, man. It was national noise. And we tried to put it aside by just saying, like, we can't control what other people might say or what other people might do. Let's focus on one another. And I spent hours one-on-one meetings with players, Zoom calls with their parents, and all the parents as a group, and just kind of remembering that they may be 6'7" and 310 pounds, but really we're all human inside. We all have feelings, we all have emotions, and those needed to be touched and understood and healed before we could have gotten onto the football stuff. And so I'm really proud of the kids. One of the things we said was something we stole from the Navy SEALs, which is a saying we were using, to men like us and those like us, damn few. And it was kind of us against the world at that point, and it was a rewarding experience. Now, with the morning of the Nebraska game, which was a great win for Michigan and for our kids, the Nick Saban interview. Nick and I are old friends because he would come and recruit our guys. He recruited Cyrus Jones, who you remember from Gilman, and recruited a bunch of guys we had at St. Francis, and recruited my son Henry. And so Nick and I have been friends for a long time, and he is so full of crap, it's unbelievable. So I knew he was going to have some kind of nonsense, and which he did. He used to say that I was like Jerry Jones at St. Francis. I was like the owner, and so I knew he was going to come up with something. And all I know is that I know too much about him for him to say too much. So I hit him on the Ferrari deal, which he kind of welched on, and which he did welch on. And so it was a hilarious time. And by the way, we spoke to one another afterwards and laughed so hard because it wasn't scripted. It was just, off the top of our heads. And it was a good time.
And that's exactly how it came off. It felt off the cuff, organic, and it was so damn funny. I was laughing my ass off, and it just, when I was looking up at this, it was really cool to see, and to see two people that I knew had a history. And also, I just thought you did a great job of, during that time, still trying to go about things the best that you could. And really at the end of the day, and even as you talked about that win and that moment, about the players, about the team. So I got to ask then with this, because it's a memory for me, but are we going to see the cutoff for you on Big Ten days? Are you going to have the famous cutoff for the?
They are really, really, I'll tell you something. Michigan was so worried when they named me the head coach that I was going to pull out the cutoff. The AD came to me and he said, look, we got this giant Jordan contract. You got to wear certain stuff. You just can't be doing your deal and cutting off. And anyway, under all the stuff I had to wear, I had a cutoff, which I was threatening to take off and show. But Big Ten Network, you can expect to see it. I can tell you that, because listen, everything sounds the same on these shows if you're not willing to get outside the box. So I think that one of the reasons the Big Ten Network was interested in me is that I sometimes can crawl out of the box.
So we're gonna see that thing. It's gonna be we're gonna see it. You promised me we're gonna see it.
We're gonna have to get a Big Ten branded one. So, it might have to be a little different. It may have to be a polo that I cut the sleeves off of and cut the collar off of, but we'll get it worked out.
See, that was such a signature for me growing up, and talking about some memories here, Coach, going back. I still remember that was the look. And I love that has continued to be a staple for you and for so many that have experienced being around you. And I love that that's just what you do. The saving part, you brought up Cyrus Jones. We were the same grade at Gilman, hell of an athlete. Darius Jennings, hell of an athlete. Going back to that, you've coached some tremendous players. Doesn't have to be with Gilman, but those are just two that I've gotten to know for a very long time. And Darius, actually, him and I, Coach, going back, was to the lower school days at Gilman. But is there any players that for you through all of it that stick out to you because you've had such a Rolodex of guys go from the high school level to college and maybe they reach to the pros, but a lot of them I know have had such a journey. Do you have any of those that maybe stick out to you that you were really proud of or impressed for more ways than one?
Well, it's like I get asked that question more than you would expect, and my answer to it is it's like the movie Sophie's Choice. You can't pick and choose.
Yeah.
Because honestly, you love them all, and you're proud of all of them. And by the way, every single one of the guys that I coached over the years, and it's been a lot of years, and the oldest group of them now, they're probably 45, 46, 47 years old. They've got their own families and things like that. And every time I get a text or a letter or a phone call or anything, I end it with, "I'm really proud of you and I love you," because it's true. I will say that, guys, I don't know if you remember, certainly Cyrus, Darius was exceptional, just ridiculous. But then Ambrose Wooden and Victor Abiamiri and so many guys that I've coached over the years. And I'll say this to you, Ryan, that I've been very blessed by God because I've coached great people. They're great. They were great kids. They've turned into great people. Many of them like you. I mean, you're married. I just found out you're married. I'm sure that you've got this career going on. You guys are doing really exciting and fun things, and it's just something to take, sit back and not that I had anything to do with it, but be proud of you guys. And so that's there's some of the names, but I could name a bunch, and I just I would be here all night doing that.
There is too many. There is. And I'll say for Darius, also someone recently just put his highlight tape out. And I tell DJ all the time, I said, dude, just for my case, you were one of the most electrifying players I ever saw.
Unbelievable.
He joked because he would say, Rip, you're a good athlete. I said, yeah, but I'm not that. I said, you can jump, cut, and move and then take it to the house. That is not me, but I appreciate you, D. He's what an awesome guy. And you guys had some awesome matchups. I still remember all the time playing Good Counsel.
Yeah.
You guys playing Calvert Hall. Zach, you're behind the scenes. I don't remember. I know there was some close games for a while with Loyola, but the math. Oh my gosh, there was so many that was fun to watch. And what we're finding out here is a lot of people in Maryland, they love this community. So, Coach, just to wrap this up, then, what do you kind of see then with the future with college and high school and throughout here and anywhere when things are going, because it has changed drastically. You know, for Maryland, I want to see Maryland football be good here with the Terps. I mean, I love the quarterback Malik, but I don't. It's going to be a really big challenge for not only these athletes to find the right place for them to develop, but for schools like Maryland, they're in right now. The Big Ten is the defending champion, national champion conference here.
Yeah, Ryan, you're going to see. Well, I'm start by saying I'm biased, right? I'm a Big Ten guy and a coach there. My son played there, and I'm going to be on their network. It's the best conference, top to bottom, in the league. And I know the SEC guys say, "Well, no, the bottom part of the SEC is better." Who? I mean, you got to be kidding me. Who? Like, I think, for example, Maryland, and this is a big year for Mike Loxley, and Mike's a friend of mine. You remember? I don't know if you remember his son,
Kai.
But Mike's a friend and a really good guy, and has been there a while. I think 7 or 8 years. This is a very important year for him at Maryland because he's pushed all his chips in. He finally has a quarterback, and he's had some decent quarterbacks. Billy Edwards had injuries. The other kid, to his brother, had some injuries and things. But Malik Washington is an elite player. We played against him last year as a true freshman. He's elite, and you need to have an elite player at the quarterback position if you're going to be any good. Maryland has always had good skill guys in the back. They've had good guys in the back seven on defense, good guys at receiver and running back. Now they've got that. They still have that. Now they have a quarterback. But this is Mike's best team in the front sevens. It's his best front seven on defense and his best front seven on offense. And I'm telling you, I think they're going to win 8+ games. I do. I really do. I think they're going to have a hell of a year. And I'll say this, if you go to the Big Ten Media Day like Mike did and you wear a red suit, for God's sake, you better be good, because who the hell wears a red suit on Media Day? But I think they're going to be good. It's hard to sustain at a place like Maryland because these rosters are now, honestly, they're $40-50 million rosters. And this is what Oregon's doing, Michigan, Ohio State, Indiana, the best teams in the league, and Texas, and the best teams in the country. This year, those rosters are $40-50 million. And if you can't do that, even if you spend 25, you are going to be shorthanded. And so what's happening to the game now, the genie's out of the bottle. It's never going back in. I don't care what Congress says they're going to do. They'll always lose in the courts. You cannot legislate what a guy can make, and you cannot legislate him going to where he wants to go for employment. That just will never happen. So the game has changed. The sport has changed. And I'll say this, and I'll be quiet. When you were a kid and you were being recruited, your dad and mom were involved in it. The coach would speak to you. The coach would speak to your high school coach. Doesn't happen that way anymore, Ryan. You don't talk to the parents. You don't talk to the players. You talk, and you don't even talk to the high school coach. They all have agents, and you talk to the agent. And the first thing the agent asks you is, I call and say, "Hey, I'm interested in Ryan Ripken." Well, here's what the agent says. What's the number? What's the starting number? And if I say it's $600,000 for a year, and he says you're not even in the ballpark, don't call the kid, don't call the parents. We're out. And that's what's happening in the game.
Wow. And that's where this is going to get tricky. It already is tricky, I should say. And I'm with you. I don't think this problem is ever going to be fixed. It needs to have guidelines, but even with the guidelines, I don't know if we're going to have the solution that we look for. And at the end of the day here, when we wrap back to what you said to start off this conversation, when you're building a team out, the success does come from obviously having talented players, but what happens in that locker room. And one thing that I always will say for kids, anyone that's listening out there, parents, you want your kid to go to the best place where he can get better and develop on and off the field. And I think that's sometimes now, Coach, it's lost in the shuffle. And that's something I always look back on. And I hope that can shift. But at the end of the day, it's a business now in the college athletic space. So, and that's never changing. But this has been a treat, Coach. I'm so thankful I get to see you. I hope I get to see you in person soon.
I would love to. I would love to.
And so when are you officially starting on the Big Ten Network?
I'll be September, week 1 in September. I'll be on, and I'll be on every weekend after that. And then, I'm gonna do this and see how I like it and see how it goes. And I've actually I've been reached out to by a couple of schools about possibly going back and coaching in 27, but we'll just see. I don't know yet.
Well, you know what? Enjoy this experience. I can't wait to see the cutoff back in action. and whatever you decide to do, Coach, you are always in my corner. I'm always in yours. So I appreciate you over all the years and give your family my best. And I look forward to catching up with you again soon.
You do the same. I'm really proud of you. Much love and much respect.
Thanks, Coach. Coach Biff Poggi, everybody. Guess I should say analysts now as well. And I am so happy that we are going to see that cutoff. That is a signature. But also I'm excited to see that perspective. And we talk about on this program camaraderie, team building. Yeah, I know you want to have to go out and get talented players to have success. But if you can't go out and put together a team to go out and compete, you're going to have trouble winning games. And that's why we talk about baseball so much. And we just talked about earlier with the Orioles and around baseball. This isn't a thing where you can just say on paper, this team should win it all. Well, if that was the case, well, then why aren't certain teams winning every single year? And you're going to say the Dodgers are winning it all now, Ryan. Well, guess what? Up until COVID, the Dodgers weren't winning for decades. The Yankees haven't won in 17 years. There's more that goes into it besides having great players. You got to be able to get on a run, find a way to be great in situations, and then hopefully you're playing your best ball at the right time, because sometimes in baseball, a lot of times, it's not always the best team all year that wins it. It's the team that's playing the best at that moment in time. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We're live Monday through Friday right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. We do have another pair of guests. They're going to join us here in a moment because baseball is having a special event here coming up tomorrow. It actually coincides with their brand, around the Field of Dreams, some would say. Hey, Rock, do I need to do an ad read right now? Do you give me a shake? I don't even see you. Thumbs up. All right, let's cross streams for 1 second from one stream to another. Our friends over at AutoStream Car Care Center. Over under 3 seconds, this thing pops up. Right, Zach? Always take the under. There it is, under. And ladies and gentlemen, our friends at AutoStream realize that the summer is hot. And yeah, it's going to be hot in August and probably in September too in Maryland. If you're having AC issues, go visit AutoStream's 11 locations around the state. You get $100 off using my name on any AC service. Make sure you do that before the end of the month. It ends when August ends, but mention my name, and my friends over at AutoStream Car Care Center are here to help you. We appreciate them. And from one stream back to this one, guys, we had one member of this crew join us. I think it was about a year ago. I mean, we're going to have to bring it back up. Drew, you're going to have to recall my memory here, and I still got the bottles to show it, but I think you guys are staying busy as you're getting ready for the Field of Dreams game tomorrow. But let's bring on Drew Storen and Tyler Clippard. Fellas, how we doing?
Excellent, Ryan. Thanks for having me back. And yeah, man, I think you nailed it just over a year ago.
The time flies,
Dude,
by the way, with all this. So for those that don't know, and I know you guys are obviously still in your playing shape, right?
Sure.
Golf playing shape.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is. So for those that don't know, you guys are both big leaguers and had your own success in your own right. And Drew or Tyler, whoever wants to take the lead on this, talk a little bit now about what you guys have gotten into with this venture and how it's tying into tomorrow.
Yeah, so obviously Clip and I played together for a long time in DC, and throughout those years, I collected a ton of whiskey. So I fell in love with collecting really cool bourbon stories, and had the idea in 2018 to take the corn from, we say, the most famous cornfield in the world out here at the Field of Dreams movie site in Dyersville, Iowa, and turn it into bourbon. And kind of a cool idea that has snowballed into something that, we really take a lot of pride and passion that we put into every drop of this liquid, and also in telling the stories, as we talked about before, hiding players under the tops and paying homage to the game, but also paying homage to good bourbon at the same time.
Yeah, the player series is really cool. It's one of my favorite. Do you mind one of you guys elaborate a little bit more on the player series that happens with telling the story?
So you go ahead.
Go ahead. All right, I'll take it.
You got it. Come on, Mike.
We've made one bottle for every player who's ever played in the major leagues. Right now, that number sits at 23,615. I got a bottle right here. We hand number each bottle. You can go to our website, look up the player that is associated with your number on this bottle. It's a limited release that we do every year. And the juice inside is second to none. It's my favorite bourbon that I drink on a daily basis. And I put it up against anything out there in the market right now.
It is fantastic stuff. I can attest to it. You guys have sent it to me. Do you guys remember the number you guys were going to the big leagues by chance?
Yeah, so mine, I believe, is 19,734. It's one of those things that does tend to change. So just depending on, because there's all these interesting caveats throughout history. So each year you have a certain assignment number.
I think I'm like 19,096 or something like that. So I've learned this through this process.
Yeah. I was trying to go back. You guys sent me one. I had two family members that technically were. There was one that was known for a really famous baseball card. And then there was another one that was known just for showing up for work each day. So
it was just that simple.
Yeah. With it. So, so tomorrow, the Field of Dreams game, correct? Yeah. So that is, correct or enlighten me. Were you guys at this event last year?
Yeah, I was at the game the last time it happened, and it would have been 22 with the Cubs and the Reds. And then I didn't go the inaugural year, which I kicked myself for because that was just unbelievable. But this is the first year of it being a permanent stadium. So really excited to see that. And obviously anytime they put up the big production out there, it becomes absolutely surreal.
My first time.
First time. I have not been yet. I've been told I have to go to this, and I would like to go to this in the future. It is one of, I think, the highlight games and moments. And I'm a baseball nerd. I think, Drew, you started to figure this out. I love the nostalgia of the game. I think it's a unique way to do it. And what you guys are doing, the brand, you're mixing it all in specifically to telling stories, because people love stories here. And maybe I'll put you guys on the spot. So we talk about stories here. Both of you were pitchers, right? So, we had Joe Thomas on talking about, having some beef with a player or specifically. So I'm not going to say you got to call out of who you had beef with, but who maybe gave you fits that maybe forced you to have a drink or two, maybe a nice glass of bourbon after a game?
I mean, my answer is pretty easy. It was like the Albert Pujols version, like 09, 10, and 11. Not the most obscure. It's pretty obvious because he was pretty much the best hitter in the game at the time. But I couldn't figure out how to get him out. There was really nothing I could do. I was like, hit it to somebody or a homer or just get out of the box somehow. So
contact guys. I mean, or even the Reyes of the world. But then Pablo Sandoval, man, that guy owned me. I could throw anything, and I feel like he would hit it somehow. Hit it hard somewhere. It didn't have to be. It could be in the other batter's box. He'd find a way.
Yeah, he certainly did for a long period of time. The Panda, man, he was a pain in the ass for a lot of people during his top years. I got to ask you then, Tyler, because in Baltimore, it was not an Orioles catch, but it was an Orioles player that made a catch. Going back to the World Baseball Classic. Was that probably the best oh shit moment you've had as a player?
Oh, 100%. I mean, to be fair, like that whole experience with the WBC and being on Team USA, winning the gold is right up there with anything that I did in my career. And to kind of have a small little like Forrest Gump moment, I call it, in the WBC, where they keep replaying this catch over and over every year, gives me all the joy in the world. But in the moment, obviously, I 100% thought this ball was 10 rows, back. But Petco is such a big ballpark, I was like, didn't really look at it for a second, and I was like, you know what, maybe I'll peek just to see. And I just see Jonesy streaking and jumping, and it looked like a magic trick that he pulled the ball out of the crowd and caught it. It was like one of the coolest moments that I'll ever have in my career, for sure.
Yeah, you had a really good facial expression there, Tyler. I gotta say,
because it literally looked like a magic trick. I was like, I was as shocked as everybody else in the stadium.
And that's what I love about the game of baseball, right? It's something where a moment that can stay with you, and then it's a memory, and that's what's created. And it's also nice when you don't give up a big ball to a really good hitter in Machado. Like, that's pretty cool too.
Way cooler, I think. But.
Yeah. So since I have you 2 questions, I'll get you guys out of here and get you ready for the next couple 24 hours. And I want to make sure then we have the right links that if people want to purchase. But in today's day and age of pitching, this is the baseball nerd in me. So, Drew, I'll start with you. We're in a day and age where there's more analytics, and I think that's all part of it. But also, we're in a day and age where high-pressure situations, and you got to be able to work yourself out of trouble. So for both of you, I'd love to just hear a mindset of what you guys focus on when you are in pressure situations. And then I'd also take it one step further as an add-on of what happens when things aren't going right that you're able to try to work through.
Yeah. So like you said, the guys, I mean, you see that with starters too, right? Guys they've got the quick hook, and I mean, it can change careers, right? Like if you get pulled mid inning a lot, especially out of the bullpen, and those runs get punched in, your stats are just absolutely torched. And, for Clip and I were actually talking about this earlier at lunch, that we had a pretty good knack for pitching ourselves into trouble. And, for me, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, kind of being up against the corner. I was probably if I went in a 3-run lead, I would tend to put a couple guys on. I don't know why. Obviously wasn't trying to get cute. But, I luckily was in a lot of 1-run games. So, and I enjoyed that moment of I looked at it, the hitter had to be the hero. So as long as I didn't make an egregious mistake, I knew exactly what he was trying to do. Right. And, that's something I think, Clip and I both did, was kind of impose our will and kind of do our things. We were both, generic white righties, like, hey, great, but we pitched completely different. And I think that was always a cool combo.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think we both had something that we could really rely on. Like, we could wake up in the morning and I could throw a changeup. He could wake up in the morning and he could throw a slider. So we really had a really nice foundation of something, no matter if we felt like we had our C stuff that day, we at least had something to fall back on in any count, in any pressure situation. And so for me, that is super important foundation to have, right? Because if you're a pitcher that has 3 or 4 pitches, but you can't necessarily rely on any single one ever on any given day, then you're kind of out there searching, throwing stuff at a wall and hoping it sticks kind of mentality. So I think that was super important for us in our success, was having really something to fall back on no matter what. And in that, you have to learn how to put up a 0 when you don't feel good and you don't have your best stuff and you can't command your fastball or whatever the case may be. So that is really what you have to learn to be successful, to have a long career in Major League Baseball. I mean, whether you're a reliever or starter, I mean, your starters have 4 or 5 really good starts a year, 2 or 3 throwaways, and then everything in between. The everything in between is your season, really. So that's kind of the same mentality as a reliever. Like, you're going to have a dud. You're going to give up a 3 or a 4 spot somewhere along the way. And it's limiting the damage, just figuring out how to put up that zero, or only maybe giving up one run and keeping your team in the game or keeping the lead. And then you put that all together in 162 and you have a decent year most of the time.
The game, you guys know better than anybody. Physically, there's a lot of physically talented players, but what separates the players in the big leagues, physical talent sometimes can get you by if you got more of it, but it's the mental side. You got to be able to battle each and every day. And some of the most physically talented players don't reach their potential because they aren't able to put their skills with their mindset and work through some of the other parts of this, right? So I tell people all the time, because I struggled with it. Mental side, you got to find a way through. You're going to fail. It's going to suck. Deal with it. You're going to give up the home run. Someone might bail you out on a great catch, but more times than not, you're going to have to bail yourself out, right? And that's something I think is a good message for anyone there. And that's why baseball is so great and why it's so comparable to life. The shit's going to suck. But how do you work through it is what we got to do here.
The game will humble you.
Well, it's going to humble you for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Tyler, I can't ask you this question because you were a high school draftee, right? You came out of high school. Drew, Stanford guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so we partnered with CQ here, and it's getting towards its fall semester, and they're going back to college. Did you have any college traditions out there at Stanford, or do you remember what your alma mater song was?
Oh yeah, it's All Right Now, is the song.
Can you sing it?
Oh no! Oh.
Yes, please.
No, oh man.
So I mean, like you could sing it like a poem. Like, could you give me something?
All right now, come on, baby, it's all right now. I believe is something like that.
Huh. Maybe
it's
you
a
have
classic rock song. So it's not like a true fight song. It's just a classic rock song.
Okay. So that was just a Stanford thing. You just liked the classic rock song.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, we just liked the tree, I guess, and just kind of went ad lib on that. Traditions, baseball wise, there's a black dot tradition that they would pick out the cockiest freshmen and act like there was a big problem in the clubhouse. And
who won that?
Well, there are a couple guys that could have been. I mean, it's only one guy a year, and it might have been me. But hey, that's why I was in the bullpen, baby. That's
not shocking.
Yeah. So that was probably one. So anytime anybody knows a Stanford baseball guy, ask them about the black dot. That's a good one.
And I'm glad. Yeah, of course, that could never be you.
No.
Is what you're telling me.
Yeah, no, it was this other guy.
You were always humble at a young age and great singer. I can't wait.
Oh, I tell you what, see, exactly. I can do it all, Ryan.
Okay, good. See, I knew that. You're a Swiss Army knife here.
Yeah.
What else then to get you guys out of here? What else should people know? I have the link here. I believe this is the right link.
Yep.
drinkfieldofdreams.com. Did I have that right?
Yes, sir.
So
hit us up on the website. Like I said, we've got our small batch. That's we hide the legends of the game underneath the top. So it's kind of like a pack of tops to get you drunk. And then we have our world record bourbon, which is our all-star. So it's half of this is our juice. And then we actually went to every major league market and found a craft distiller and bought their calling card and blended it in here. So kind of a cool project. This is we're down to probably our last few bottles of it. I don't know that we're going to do it again. So kind of a cool deal. But yeah, man, we appreciate the time. Always good talking ball with you.
And Rocco just sent me a message behind the scenes. He's a big bourbon guy, so I guess I'll have to.
Well,
I'll let him. I haven't let him sample it enough because he's not here. But you know what? I'll let him sample. He's a good kid.
Yeah. Well, we've got the new 26 player series, so it's a new mash bill this year, and we'll make sure and get you reloaded with some good stuff.
Awesome, guys. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys. Enjoy the experience. Keep doing your thing. Shout out to Brooks for connecting us again.
Yeah.
He thinks he's a funny guy. Who are these guys?
Classic.
Super
fresh.
Well, hey, I appreciate it. You guys be good, be safe, enjoy, and look forward to talking to you guys in the future. All right.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, Rhino. Yeah. If they do it again, man, and you come out here, you got to let us know.
Hell yeah. And I got to know when you guys come east. We got to get together.
look forward to it, pal. Thanks again,
All
man.
right, guys. Tyler Clippard and Drew Storen, everybody. You know what? A lot of baseball talk, and I always love it. And also, who doesn't like a good bourbon here? I know that's Rocco's wheelhouse. And again, if you have any more information and you want to check out drinkfieldofdreams.com. I got the link in the chat. We'll put it out again later. And I just always love talking shop. I always do. And the stories. It's always the stories. And actually, besides Tyler Wells, not knowing anything about his alma mater, I'm glad Drew at least had something to give me here, unlike Dean, who just had nothing for us. But fellas, are you still back there? Caw? Anybody?
Yeah, we're here.
Did we lose a wild Kevin Ostriker?
Yeah, Kevin. Yeah, we lost Kevin, I think.
He's gone. We still have Nate here, I think. Nate?
What's up, y'all?
I did hear Nate's computer go off.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was looking at something.
You were doing something?
I was doing something.
Hey, while you were doing something, guys, the Orioles did something. They lost the ball game. They lost the series to the Minnesota Twins.
In true Oriole fashion, Zach was texting me with updates. I was looking at the game cast. He's like, Kowser just hit a hard line drive back to the pitcher, and they got doubled off.
Yeah, it's the tying run.
It's another day at the office, man.
You wanna go one further in the 7th inning. Jeff Hoffman comes in. First two guys, 1-2, quick and easy. Gunner walks, Pete walks, and then wild pitch, 2nd and 3rd. You're down 3. You're like, okay, here we come. Jackson Holiday line drive with a .950 expected batting average, and Clement just makes the incredible play.
Yeah, and then on top of that, to top it all off with, oh my God, Shane Baz. It's like he finally gets run support. That's been the narrative all season long. He pitches well. The O's can't give him run support. Well, they gave him plenty of run support. 4-1. He's sitting there, has that blow up inning, and it's gone. So, did they piss off the baseball gods or something this year? I know, obviously, deeper conversation, but that's they've had some unlucky, just shitty losses there too, where it's what the hell just happened?
What did happen? What in the hell is going on here? Well, it's sports. It doesn't feel good, but it is sports, and we can dive into it more. Kevin and Zach Reacts will be live after this. They'll talk about all of the emotions and feelings as the Orioles drop the series and they get ready to have just a lot of dates with the Rays and the Yankees collectively, fellas, over the next week plus. So that is that. And the Orioles, though, a chance against 2 teams ahead of them, lose both series, and they are now 2-4 on this road trip. Nate, I do know you have to go in a minute.
I do, yeah.
You okay? Do you want to say hi to Rocco and Zach?
Hi, guys.
How's it
Hi,
going?
Nate.
How we doing? Good?
Great. How are you?
Hanging out.
Fantastic.
I'll save it for a different time. Nate, I was thinking about, have you ever run a gasser?
A gasser?
Yeah.
No.
You know what? I was going to put my name on this in honor of Coach Poggi with Biff. I might, maybe I'll put Nate's name on there for a gasser.
I think this is how we should do the wheel, Rip, is we write all our names on the wheel. First spin is name. Second spin is what we have to do. So one person is not locked into that challenge. I will gladly take that stand on one foot for 30 seconds, eyes closed, head on. But
so are we acquiring a second wheel?
Yeah, are we getting a second wheel, Rock?
Well, no, I'm saying you write the names on the outside. First spin is names. Second spin on the inside is what we got to do. I don't think another wheel is in the Ryan Ripken Show budget. Could be wrong. That's
that might not.
That wheel was $18.99 off of Amazon.
Yeah, it's too much.
We're not breaking the budget.
Nope, can't do it again.
Too much. Nate, you can go. You're a good kid.
I'll see you guys later. See you guys tomorrow. I'll be on.
Bye, Nate. See you, buddy.
Have a
Hey,
good one.
again, you don't have to say anything, but you didn't turn your light on again.
Yeah,
I know I didn't. I realized it as the show started. I was like,
You had a haircut.
I did. I actually, here, hold on. I just came back from the barber. Like, literally, I came from the barber to here. What do you think?
Looks good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It
All
looks
right.
good.
I'm out of here.
Bye, Nate.
See you guys.
Good to see you, Nate. Best of luck, Nate. And best of luck to all of you out there, because I know it's a tough day for Orioles fans. It's been a tough year, but if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We're live Monday through Friday right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. Appreciate Tyler Clippard and Drew Storen. Appreciate Coach Biff Poggi joining us as well. I know we had some things, guys, that we hit. I know we have some other notes we want to get to. I do think, though, the Ravens side didn't have a ton, but at least we had Biff talk about Jesse and Mike McDonald, which was great. It
was awesome.
That was very great. Very, very good.
We do have an update from yesterday.
Okay.
The big Ravens update with Nate Wiggins. Correct me if I'm wrong, Zach. Was it reported that it's believed to be no structural damage in the left leg, knee of Nate Wiggins after being carted off the field yesterday at Ravens practice? But there was news. Reportedly, another Ravens cornerback goes down, TJ Tampa. Is it Jacoby Lane just hurting everyone? Obviously not purposely, but is he like just that big of a freak that corners are just getting hurt trying to cover him? Was it Wiggins yesterday on Lane? Is that how it happened, Zach? Because I know the play today was with TJ Tampa. Yeah, I see Justin saying it. Jacoby Lane's the guy that kills corners. Do that to the opposition. I think a lot of people would be thankful if nobody wants to see anyone injured, but you could be as physical as you are in practice with opposing corners not wearing the same colors as you are. that would be pretty ideal.
That would be, yeah. It seems like Jacoby Lane is just he's making more plays. Yeah, I would like it to not be at the, I guess, not hurting our corners.
Zach, did you see the one today? Like the one play, and I don't know if that was the play that TJ Tampa got hurt on.
Supposedly, I guess.
I saw Josh Tolentino of the Baltimore Sun. He tweeted earlier, and they probably put the highlight out already. I thought, like, I was just making sure when I saw it, like, that it was actually him and not some meme account. Jacoby Lane with a spinning 360 catch over TJ Tampa, who's had a really impressive camp. Throw from Lamar Jackson down the right sideline. Caught in front of the pylon. The rookie wide receiver Lane was displayed highlight moments every day in camp. A spinning 360 catch. Like, who does this guy think he is? Vince Carter? Yeah. That doesn't happen.
And we do have funny enough, they posted a video of Jacoby Lane with the big highlight about an hour and a half ago. And everyone was like, oh, okay. Because they were like, hey, another big play from Jacoby Lane. Everyone's like, oh, awesome. So glad that reporters lied to us about this 360. And then people had to clarify, no, the 360 was a second play. This is a completely separate big play from Jacoby Lane today.
I'm assuming, Zach, because the Ravens will not post any content respected at this, obviously, if a player gets injured. I'm wondering if that is the play that TJ Tampa got injured on, and they're like, I don't know about that one, Jim. So
also, I do need to shout out the Ravens social media team. There was a lot of complaints about the video ratio recently. Very, very happy. A lot of people were really upset. Too many verticals. Couldn't get the whole wingspan of Jacoby Lane in there. They did a nice horizontal one on this one, and you get to see it in all its beauty. So shout out them for listening to what the people wanted. They said, hey, we want these Jacoby Lane. We want the IMAX. We don't want the reels. We want the IMAX, and they got it. So
vertical drop, horizontal tug.
What?
Guess nobody.
No, Rocco. You know what? I got a couple housekeeping.
Not crazy.
Things. I mean, you are crazy, and some people think you don't have a soul. Thank you for being a member for 26 months, Joe.
Curb your enthusiasm. Thank you very much. I'm not clapping at that one.
Well, how
The
about
only one I won't celebrate. That I'll celebrate. Thanks, Mark's Reviews 2.080.
we appreciate it. I do think we should answer a couple more of the mailbags to finish out the day. I
course.
think we can go back to the bag.
Did we
Rob?
show YouTube some love, Zach?
We
have
got
any resp-
YouTube.
Hey, before we show more love, you know who can save us? Who can really save the Orioles season?
Kevin Ostreicher.
Is Kevin here?
Camera's off, so I'd say no.
Okay. Well, you know who can save the Orioles? Well, there's only one
Who
man.
can save the Orioles season? Nobody.
Well, next Friday, this man is the one for the job.
Iceman kicking like Jackie Chan, and I got something to tell you, man. That's right, it's the I Love the 90s tour, and it's coming to Baltimore at Oriole Park, August 21st. Got Naughty by Nature. Shoot, I got Tag Team, Tone Loc, Funky Cole Medina. Let's go. And the Iceman, so let's do this. Hey, get your fanny pack out. Get your running shoes and your dancing shoes, and let's go. It's time to be a teenager. Everyone is a teenager, so let's go. Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Come on.
So he will be playing that song, no doubt. But this is the man that can save the Orioles season right there.
Zach, can you drop the Nate Wiggins gets positive news banner, please? Thank you. Appreciate it.
No, I
Not
kinda
that anyone
like-
needs to see my face, but just.
I'm sorry, I was distracted by Kevin talking about his distraction.
Well, I was distracted about Vanilla Ice talking about his song. The only other song I know, but didn't even know he sung that, honestly.
Well, we're learning something new
We are
every
learning.
day. But that is right. Next Friday, home game, August 21st. It's Party at the Yard. It's every time it's a Party at the Yard, brought to you by Coors Light. And they're doing 90s night at Coors Light. And guys, I don't think I've even showed the shirts that they've had. I mean, it might make people sad.
Yeah.
Should I wait a day?
Maybe.
It's not like Adley Rutschman like hated it here or was like a shitty player. If he was on the shirts and that was the case, then I'd say like nobody would wear them. I feel like people might wear them.
Dude, the
Down
shirts
the
are
line for
sick.
sure. They're fantastic. It's one of
Yeah.
the coolest shirts you
Yeah,
can
they're
see.
sick.
The issue is too soon. And it's not their fault. Like this was, but the issue is now you're like, damn, this just happened.
I feel like it'd be different if and he's with the Red Sox, but yeah.
It is a sick shirt, but apparently this was actually Coors Light. They got these, so it's only a small amount that's available for the Coors Light deck. So, I mean, these things, dude, are going to be, they're retro looking, and they are going to be one of the last pieces of Oriole gear that Adley is a part of.
Yeah.
Guess they didn't get informed that
It's all right,
get the
baby.
call
Hey,
from Mike.
we're partying at the Yard, man. Those mountains are going to be blue at least on August 21st. And maybe if the mountains aren't blue, maybe you get a little vanilla ice. Ice, baby. Dun, 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 dun. Mailbag rock. Let's do it, Zach.
So
Keep it rolling.
as we kind of continue this, we'll go back to YouTube for the moment. And we have, let me see this. From Dark Wolf. This one, keep it simple. When Blaze is able to return, do you bring him back, and how do you fit him in? Who goes down? Basai will obviously come back and split time with Narvaez and DH. But what about Blaze? So Ryan, what do you think happens when Blaze Alexander comes back?
I mean, he's going to be on the roster. He's going to play. It's just such the circumstances for Blaze. If you're in the middle of this, playoff race, you're going to try to find every which way to get him still acclimated in the lineup. But I still caution that you got to make sure that at bats for Jackson and Kobe don't get compromised, because you're talking about the long-term development, and Blaze to me is going to be here long-term. Maybe he becomes more of an option, but he's the super utility guy. He can do everything. You can plug him in, and that gives you a lot of confidence. But I am just curious on the timeline as well, Zach. If the Orioles do fall out of it in the next 2 to 3 weeks, will they rush him coming back? I don't think that they would. If they are in the middle of this, I think that Blaze then, just like any of those, it'll be all hands on deck as they try to make a postseason run. Corresponding move, you could look at Franklin could be in the situation of being sent down, even with Basayo coming up. That would just be Pozo in my mind, just to make that a easier transaction for that side. But yeah, that's kind of how I envision it. It really does depend on, for Blaze in my mind, how much they'd push him if the Orioles are right there on the cusp of a playoff spot.
I agree. Next question, just got this one. We're going back over to Facebook, and this is more just not really opinion, just kind of wondering. And Ryan asked, what's the latest on Felix Bautista? And I guess I'll extend this. Rip, when do you think Felix returns? Is this something where it's next year? Is this something where you're still kind of in the air of, is he returning? What are your thoughts?
Oh man. Well, first off, I don't think the Orioles see Felix this year. I think you plan for him for next year. He is progressing, but with shoulder injuries, it's just going to take more time. I'm glad that he's checking all the boxes. It's not that's not a great thing to see, but it just takes a lot of time. And for a guy that was used so much in that magical 23 season, that ultimately led to his arm deteriorating and put him in a position that I felt, kind of unfortunately led to the arm injury, and you can't use him as much as you did then. And I'd want to ease him in. So when I look at this, there's no reason to risk that chance for him moving forward. I'm looking at the long-term of the player, and I think there still is a lot of doubts, but I am encouraged that he is on the right path. But I think the best case is you see Felix as a Baltimore Oriole. Everything goes well, all things considered, in 2027.
Awesome. And then one final one as we get out of here. We got a kind of a dual question from Jackson saying, first, will we be able to hold on to Gunnar? Also, what needs to happen to get the Orioles offense going? Our bats have been extremely hit or miss. No support to our pitchers, in my opinion. 1 or 2 games don't make up for the countless games of barely scoring.
The Gunnar situation is just going to be ongoing. And I don't want to get too much into all of that, because that contract side and his team control, it's a little bit different. Of course, though, that is going to be the challenge. How do you get to an agreement? Because Boris clients, there is a certain amount of money, and it's going to take a lot of money, even on the down year for Gunnar that he's having right now. Still a tremendously talented player that I'd love to see in Baltimore for years and years to come. And also, I don't even want to get into all those other talks. Oh, Gunnar doesn't want to be here. He's mad that Adley got traded, all that. Like, to me, of course he's going to be sad one of his friends got traded, but it's a business. That has nothing to do with what's going to happen here in my mind. So let's just let things play out. In the meantime, I just care if Gunnar in this offense, the second part of the question, gets going. And how do they get going? I still think we'll go back to the mental side. They got to try to find a way to simplify the at-bat and simplify the job. Find a way to get on and find a way to get that guy in. The goal is every at-bat, you want to try to hit the ball hard, but then also do what the game dictates you to do. So if you got a guy on second base, less than 2 outs, let's focus on getting that guy to third. Or you got a guy on third, let's focus on getting that guy in. And whether that ball's hit 50 miles an hour or 150 miles an hour, find a way to get the job done. That, to me, when you're able to simplify a focus, Zach, I think then you see maximized results. One way I like to think of this, and I've said it before, but every time you tell yourself you need to get something done, or you tell yourself don't do something. So for the example, I need to get a hit. That puts a lot of pressure on yourself, doesn't it? And then you got to go, don't strike out. Well, also, Rock and Zach, if I told you guys don't think of white elephants, what are you thinking now all of a sudden? You're thinking about, well, why the hell did Ryan just say white elephants? It's a thought that goes into your mind. Don't add other thoughts to your head. Focus on the one thing. All right, infield's back. All right, I'm trying to hit a ground ball to the shortstop. All right, runner's on second. All right, I got to get him over. And when you're able to simplify your thought, you'll be surprised that the results actually turn out well. And that's how I think it has to be. And then if one guy gets going, it can be contagious. But I'm not saying that that's going to happen this year, but that's typically when teams are going well. And for me, when we were fighting for a playoff spot in Double-A in 2019, and I remember I was hitting pretty well average-wise, and I was like, damn, I'd love to hit 300. And I dropped below 300, and I ended up dropping down in like the 250s. And I told myself, like, stop worrying about that bullshit. Focus on what are you doing this at bat. All right, we have a guy on, or I'm the leadoff guy. If I'm the leadoff guy, find a way on. And if there's a guy on base, how do I do a job to get him home? That's all I thought about. And my average actually went back up. I think I finished at 282. And that helped me relax more. And I think the Orioles offense just needs to take a deep breath and simplify their thoughts and relax.
Yeah. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if they're able to do that, definitely. So appreciate everyone. We'll get to some more questions next week as well. If we didn't get to your question, we will make sure to get to them as we continue. But thank you to everyone who gave questions. And we're going to continue to do this every Wednesday, correct, Rock?
Yeah, every Wednesday. Wednesday mailbags are going to be a thing. So feel free to participate. Members will get priority. So become a member of the Ryan Ripken Show. And we'll be happy to answer your questions. Random man, I need a shot, probably two. Or we can point Random man in the right direction with some Field of Dreams whiskey rip. Correct me if I'm wrong. That might help a little bit with this.
Now, I think that link's in there if you need it.
Yep, there you go.
Whammy!
Yep. There you go. Attaboy.
Attaboy. Yeah, we got a lot of we got some fun things coming up here. And they're right there. Oh, hey, Brooks is already a company man.
Love it. Love it. That's what we're talking about, Brooks.
Rocco, we know, he's all about the company with his you are very photogenic, Rock, when it comes to that.
It's very much not photogenic.
Are you okay?
It's sometimes you have to look at yourself in the mirror and just tell yourself, like, holy shit, I'm ugly. I'm an ugly human being. And nothing's going to change that. That's how I feel sometimes when I look at pictures of myself. It's tough. It's tough. Self-deprecation sometimes works. But that's what it is, Rip.
Well, yeah. Damn. I mean, that's what we're
Where
going
did
with this?
Come from?
He said I'm photogenic. I look like shit in every one of the Coors Light pictures I took. So it's like, not great.
You know what we should do? We'll have a nice drink. I am in this retro phase. Maybe it's the 90s. Maybe it's just because I was going through my stuff in my house. And I found some of my old game systems. So I was playing. I hadn't played. You guys know I don't play as many games as much because life and trying to grow this Ripken Media group. And for us, we have so many fun things that are on the docket here. But retro game, and I was playing Madden 05, and I just had to run for 200 yards with Jamal Lewis just to get us back on track. MVP Baseball 05, Melvin Mora, freaking stud.
Is that Manny on the cover of that one?
That's
Manny 05, yeah. Pujols 04, correct 04. Me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
Such a great game.
I think there was a question about N64 games in the YouTube chat. I think I saw. We will get to the fun questions. Maybe we can add those in late in the future because I want to do a deep dive on N64 games. And maybe we have a Mario Beerio Kart Ryan Ripken Show experience. And then we could talk about Rocco's problem, Zach, because I think that was deep rooted.
That was.
I need help.
Yeah.
I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
That's how it feels.
Oh, gosh. Well, hey, you know what? Hey, Rock, I don't care what anyone else says about you. You're a good kid. All right. And we appreciate you. And Zach.
We appreciate CQ.
And our friends at CQ, ladies and gentlemen. It is college season already. The fall semester starting. College football will be back. If you're a college football fan in general, you might be traveling to some games, or you already did travel to games. And if you find yourself in a little bit of debt or you need a loan, well, don't worry. CQ is here to help you out, because if you're still paying off those debts, they have newly lowered rates on unsecured signature loans, and a line of credit means now from CQ that you can root on your team without breaking the bank. Borrow as little as $300 or up to $30,000. No application fee and no prepayment penalty. See cqmd.org for full details. Terms and conditions apply and subject to credit approval. But CQ, proud sponsor of the Ryan Ripken Show.
Can we have like a day where we just stream video games? Be pretty sick.
Can we try that?
I mean,
how do we do that though for the old retro games?
Thinking back to N64. Oh my God, there were so many good games on the N64. Was it Super Smash Bros on the
Super Smash Bros was electric. Is elite.
That was awesome.
That's top tier.
And then Mario Kart
top tier
before the Wii came out with like the actual like steering wheel was pretty sick on there. I'm pretty sure that was N64. Might be getting that mixed up with Then I remember Sega had the or it was the Super Nintendo. Sorry, had the Duck Hunter, where you had like the little toy gun where you shoot the ducks. When PlayStation 2 came out, NBA Street Volume 2 is still to this day one of the greatest games ever created. And the soundtrack is just elite.
Some would say it's cinema.
Sure. Now I'm a big Chell guy.
We know.
Chell's my shit, man.
Zach, do you know, have you ever been on a call with Rocco and then you hear the controls going and they go, "Hey, how's the game?" I'm hanging out. Like, no, you're playing.
No,
it's
you know
okay.
what's bullshit? Like, I used to have my status on Discord to where people could see if I was on Xbox, and Ryan called me out on it a few times. And I'm like, you know what? You lost privacy privileges here. It's an invasion of privacy. So I took it off, and now he doesn't know, but he still knows. So
it's really not hard when you answer the phone.
I was gonna say you know
when you hear the controller clicking around, and I'm trying to clap one-timers in the office, like it's not now, Chief. I'm in the fucking zone.
All right. Okay.
Zach, any other final words?
No, I think yeah.
Here, let me go over to get the.
Yeah, we're gonna need it. That I don't know.
The music.
Yeah, that got out of hand. So sorry. If you're still sticking around, really appreciate you. Really do. I'm so sorry.
You okay?
I'm fantastic. You know, are you okay?
Sure.
How much time do you got?
Rocco, do you want to hug from?
You see that teddy bear on the couch
A-Bear?
right now? It's having a better day than I am.
Probably.
We're getting there, guys.
Oh, goodness gracious. Do you need a hug?
What's that?
He needs one.
Yeah, and also you know what, this is a, when you did say it this way, it didn't sound exactly right.
Well, it's like Ovechkin has his office, my left wing in NHL has his office, and I just stay in the office and I clap one-timers. I didn't say I'd clap anything else. I didn't name a part of the body that I'm sitting there clapping, talking about one-timers and Chell guys.
I hit the music.
That's just. Oh,
I didn't say cheeks.
Hey guys, look at this, by the way. And there it is.
Fantastic.
We'll talk more about this shirt later in the week here. Oh, goodness. Have a day. Have a night. We appreciate you guys. Be good. Be safe. It's the Ryan Ripken Show. Things happen here. Happen every day, Monday through Friday, right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. See you guys.
I'm so sorry for him.
Yeah, that's